Hello Taurus friends, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my Taurus December 2021 Astrology Must-Knows Horoscope Forecast. Definitely go to anniehelpsyou.com to see all the free goodies that I make for you each month to help you make the most of the starry possibilities. And if you would like to be an astrologer and earn money doing that, I can teach you how. Or if you'd like to just learn to help yourself and your friends, you will love my Becoming a Professional Astrologer Mastery course, which you can see at lumelife.com, L-U-M-E life.com. I also have free courses at that site, including a course for manifesting money. All right, so this is for you if Taurus is your sun sign or your moon sign or your rising sign, or if you go even deeper into your chart, any Taurus placement that you have, this is for you. If you are a late degree Taurus, so basically if your birthday is around May 11th through the rest of the sign, or your degrees are 20 to 29 degrees, then I also suggest that you watch my video for Gemini. You cuspy people in the late degree department have a more complex read, and you'll benefit from watching both the Taurus and the Gemini report. Okay, so we've got 5 major must-knows and we're going to drill down into them. We've got the solar eclipse at 12 degrees of Sagittarius on December 4th. This is the end of that eclipse season of the Sagittarius Gemini eclipses. So we'll talk about that and where that is going to hit for you. We're also going to talk about Venus retrograde. Venus rules love and relationships and money and finances and aesthetics and self-esteem. And it's offline for quite a while, so we need to know all of the implications of that, or at least hit the highlights as we will in this video. Okay, we're also going to talk about what the Scorpio, Sag, and Capricorn planets movements mean for Taurus, and this last clash of 2021 of the Saturn-Uranus square that's been rocking the world. Talk about that. And then finally, Jupiter is moving into Pisces for real this time, not just the dip we had in the summer. And that's actually a very positive thing for Taurus. So we'll talk about what areas of life will be accentuated and what other things you might see from that transit. All right, so first in our list is this solar eclipse. And eclipses always bring eclipse season, which really started in October and runs even into January. Bring radical changes, crazy trajectory shifts where you think you're going in one direction and all of a sudden, wow, you're going in another direction, major endings, new beginnings, and sometimes a lot of drama, but sometimes accomplishment of things you've been trying to do your whole life. So they're very intense times. You will be going through things, and if you're not, you're definitely feeling the energy around you and watching other people go through a lot of major things. So the Sagittarius Gemini eclipse cycle started around March 2020 when the world shut down. And the storylines of education and, trying to change that into doing that online, and work, trying to do that from home, and the interferences with transport and travel and social situations, all of those are under the domain of Gemini and Sagittarius. So the eclipse cycle has had its story to play. And now that we're having a conclusion, there will be some conclusions to the storylines that we've been working with. So some things will gel in place. Some things that were problems will no longer be problems, or will shift into their new level of new normal. Things involving education, teaching, learning for yourself or your family, international business, different languages and cultures are going to come up in a big way. Now, specifically for Taurus, your 8th house is being aspected with this eclipse. And in the whole house, from the whole house perspective, that's true for all Taurus placements. So when you have your 8th house aspected, and this is a theme that's going to be present for Taurus for a while, because in November, we started the Taurus-Scorpio eclipse cycle, and that is, you definitely want to watch that report, my November report for Taurus, if you haven't already, because I go into the introduction of this new eclipse cycle that's featuring you. And those energies are going to still be present in December now and for a couple of years. But the story of eclipses in Scorpio, or the 8th house, are going to be a trend that we're going to be dealing with for a while, and there's extra emphasis on this in the month of December for Taurus. And what this means is the hyper awareness of mortality, brushes with mortality or other people going through where life becomes a major focus and death can come up, or brushes with death can definitely happen. But sometimes the deaths that come from these eclipse energies are figurative. Something dies, but it's not a person or a being. It's a way of doing things. It's a way of seeing things. It's, just some kind of major chapter ending. But because it can manifest with things, that could be very final, it's always great to get right with everybody. And this is advice I always give people when I see this part of the chart being aspected. And I've had many people come back and tell me, Annie, you told me to get right with everyone in my life, and I did. And then someone passed away, and now I'm so glad because I got right with them. I've also had it happen that people have taken the advice to get right with everyone in their lives because of the possibilities, and then the person had a near miss, a family member, and they were fine, but because they got right with that person, their relationship was so much more enriched because of the work that they did. So either way, doing work to heal your relationships is going to be beneficial for you at this time. And also the topics of inheritances, estate planning, investments, spousal money, family money are going to come up in a very notable way. Now you can see more about the details of how these eclipses might hit you from some specialized videos that I have for extra information. So if you look on my Annie Botticelli home page on YouTube, watch the eclipses in Sagittarius video. That will be relevant for all Taurus placements. Also watch my eclipses in Scorpio or 8th house, because that's going to be relevant for all Taurus placements. Now, if you are a May-born Taurus, I also suggest you watch my eclipses in Libra, because that's going to give you extra dimensions from the Placidus chart about how this might affect you, and it is very centered around relationships. Okay, so big changes ahead. The next big must know is that Venus is going retrograde. This is December 19th. Oh, and by the way, the dates, we're going to go over 5 important dates for these 5 big things for this month. But if you want a detailed list of all of the sweet and salty dates, all of the aspects, what you can expect from them delivered into your inbox 1 month early, when you sign up for my newsletter at anniehelpsyou.com, it's free. You will get that. Also now, starting at the end of November, I'm going to give you the access to run a free birth chart as a member of my free email community. So if you've been wanting to do that, then here's another perk that you have from being signing up there. Okay, but in any case, this December 19th, Venus going in retrograde, this date is a little bit misleading, because even though Venus is retrograde from December 19th through January 29th, the shadow period starts November 18th, and the post-shadow period goes through March 2nd. Those shadow periods are powerful, and the energies that rule the retrograde are very dominant during the retrograde shadow periods as well. And the reason we want to know this is because there are a lot of big do's and don'ts for Venus in retrograde. And one of the big things to know is that you're not going to be seeing clearly in love and beauty and design and money. And so it lends itself better to short-term, easily fixable, low-stakes decisions in those arenas. Okay, so if you just remember that in a nutshell, if you're going to do anything involving money or body enhancement or relationship things, you might not be seeing clearly at this time. So decisions that you think are final might not be final. So it's more of a time to research, experiment, try things on, work on your money consciousness, work on your relationship energies, more than actually make big decisions in those arenas. Now, if things come to you and they're unavoidable, don't worry about it. It's out of your hands. But as far as you conjuring something or trying to make something happen or trying to push something out, remember that the tides are going in. So keep the visual in mind this month of everything involving Venus's domain, that first of all, you might not be seeing clearly. Then after the time is done of the retrograde, you might say, what was I thinking? If you make a major change that is not easily reversible. All right. So you want to stick to low stakes things. So get a new throw rug, paint a wall, get a few house plants, fix some things around the house that have been needing some fixing. Those are all fine. They're, affordable, manageable, not a big deal, easy to reverse if you don't like the paint color on one wall. But if you paint your whole house and then you change your mind, which you may, or something else could happen that interferes, that's going to be a higher stakes project. All right, so just kind of keep the high stakes, low stakes thing. And also remember the tides are coming in. So keep the visual that you're on the beach. And if you try to throw your message in a bottle out, since the tide's coming in, it's going to come back in. So that message in a bottle is representative of your big relationship decision or your big business launch. And you're trying to like get those things out there in that time. And they're kind of going to be coming right back to you. Now, what Venus retrograde is good for is capitalizing on things that you've already done, webs you've already woven, past clients or past contacts, going back to them for business or for anything else that you need. You can definitely have it be a very financially prosperous time and a romantically prosperous time. And the odds that this is going to be favorable for Taurus are increased, because the sign that Venus is moving through is Capricorn. So the whole time that Venus is doing this Capricorn thing, which is for an extended period of time, it's going to be making nice angles for you. So the chances that you're going to have blessings from the past are much more enhanced compared to some of the other signs because of this aspect. All Taurus placements have the chance for enhanced goodies, but those of you who are in the May born have some extra potentials because the retrograde is going to be from 26 degrees back to 11 degrees. And that covers everybody, in the May domain. But you're not left out there, April friends, because this is good for all of you. So this can bring a lot of blessings in the areas of your work and your career and your income. And if you're someone that doesn't need money or you're retired, just you helping other people with their finances or you teaching things from the gifts that you have or the lifetime of learning that you've had, things like that. Okay, let's see. You definitely want to watch my Venus retrograde video because there are a lot of do's and don'ts. There are a lot of amazing things about this transit to capitalize on. And I go into great detail about that. So if you just search for Annie Botticelli, Venus retrograde, find it on YouTube. I also have a series on my AnnieHelpsYou.com site of Venus through retrograde through the signs and houses. So the ones that are going to be most relevant for you are Venus retrograde through Capricorn in the 10th house, because Capricorn rules the 10th house and it's in the sign of Cap. Venus retrograde through Sagittarius or the 9th house, because that's the house that's going to be featured for you with the retrograde. Okay, so a lot of this can bring up Sagittarius topics. Now, Sagittarius topics are supercharged at this time because the eclipse is in Sag, the sun and Mars is going to get to Sag, Mercury is moving through Sag, Venus is going retrograde through the house of Sag. So for Tauruses, you've got like a lot of lines of energy ruling this: teaching, learning, international business, anything having to do with immigration or international connections are definitely supercharged for you at this time. Okay, so we do also have a little bit more time with Mars moving through Scorpio, and this again is a very positive thing for you because it makes a nice angle. It can put you at odds with some people in your life, your relationship space, but it can equally as likely help you to come into an accord. So if you've got some continuing conflicts with others, just keep pushing through. The odds that the solutions are going to come are enhanced at this time. And if you need help or support from other people's money or other people's resources, that can also be available for you. Now, in general, the Taurus people I know like to do things themselves and don't like to ask for help or rely on other people. But if you feel open to this, there's a chance that just a little openness can help you to have the boost you need for what you're trying to do. Okay, so when the planets are moving through Sagittarius, they're very dizzying and busy. So you are going to be kind of spun out. You might have to take a little time to just rest or say no to some things because it is going to be very, very, very busy, and it's it's going to be a blur. So if there are things that you think you're going to do in December, you might want to do those early, including holiday shopping. There are a lot of reasons why holiday shopping is better earlier this year. If you're watching this early, I'm posting this in October. So, the end of October, the first half of November is actually much better for holiday shopping than later. So one caveat to that is that Venus retrograde can open up smoking deals. So if you find a deal and you're in a position to afford it and you're not stretching yourself too much, you can really, really benefit from the fact that other people have their Venus goggles on. And I don't like to, promote taking advantage of people that are having Venus goggles on, but I can only help you all who are watching this, right? So other people are not going to be seeing clearly with their money and their things of value. And that means they might be trying to sell them at a really good price, which means it's a bargain hunter's delight. Okay. So the next major must-know is on December 24th, we have the third of 3 clashes of Saturn square Uranus. The first was February 14th. The next was June 14th. Now we have it here again on December 24th. We are going to have a little reprieve after it sort of lightens as January goes on until August, when we have it come up again for the last time from August through November of 2022. These themes have been all about innovation versus tradition, old versus new, erratic, exciting, ingenious ideas versus the things that have always worked. And you're going to see this manifesting in every aspect of your individual experience, like just your day-to-day basis, things that you're doing with your body, with your diet, with your routine, things that you're doing in your relationships, how you're handling your money. Even, the systems that you have for your kids or other people you care for. Anything like that has some things that are old that are ready to be updated. There is going to be a desire or a tendency to want to throw the baby out with the bathwater and just do something in one fell swoop and be rid of something. But because of the Venus retrograde energies and because of this Saturn-Uranus square, it might be better to try to make a bridge agreement or hold on to some old things while you strengthen the new things. Just imagine the new things that are coming into your life as little saplings, and they need extra care and extra protection, and they're not going to give you your fruit yet, right? They're little babies. So you might want to keep your other fruit trees that are producing intact while you grow the other ones. So this is a really big lesson of this time. We have seen Uranus in Taurus and then Uranus squaring Saturn making a lot of disruptions with weather and earth changes, volcanic eruptions, all kinds of things related to climate and weather patterns, which has also affected agriculture, which has also been part of the supply chain issues, and other things have had to do with the supply chain with COVID. And, so all of these things with the markets and market disruptions and everything with our foundations have been getting rocked. And this is one of the reasons why astrologically. So this is going to continue. It is a hot spot now. Some solutions can come in and you can access your super genius. And I'm going to talk about that more when we go into the next segment. But this is definitely a time when new ideas that can be so novel or so surprising to you can actually really work if you write them down and do something with them, because ideas you have now might be fleeting. So you might have this great idea and it comes like a lightning strike. And if you don't write it down and make some plans to kind of do something with it, it could pass or you could get busy or whatever, but your access to genius at this time as far as problem solving is going to be very much enhanced. Okay, so the last big must know is that Jupiter's going into Pisces. So this officially happens December 28th. We had a little dip into Pisces in this summer of 2021, or winter for you all down under. And now it's going into Pisces for real. It's going to stay there and go through the whole sign. Between the end of December and May 11th, it's going to blow through, and then it's going to partly get into Aries, and then it's going to retrograde at the end of 2022, just into the last couple of degrees, and then be done at the end of the year of 2022. But the bulk of the energies are going to happen from the end of December through May. And here's what this means for Taurus. So Pisces makes a nice aspect for Taurus. That's the first thing to know. So it's a much more benevolent manifestation than Aquarius, which was a little awkward for you. Now, Jupiter always brings blessings, but sometimes it brings a little more amplification or mischief in the process of bringing its blessings, especially when it's in a difficult angle, like it had been for 2021 when it was in Aquarius. But now that it's going to be in Pisces, it's making a sweet aspect. It's a 60-degree angle, which is that angle of ingredients on a counter. They're opportunities that are given to you that you have to do something with. So you make a decision to be hyper alert from the end of December into May, especially for opportunities that can come. And they can come in any area of life, but they're specifically going to be centered around networking, friendships, groups, finding your tribe or your like-minded people where you can feel like you're part of something greater, lending your creative efforts to a bigger cause. So humanitarian things, community-based projects, internet-based projects, if you're wanting to get your business online or having to get your business online or having to get up to date with technology. This is all very much enhanced at this time for you all. And anything having to do with launches, you might want to do your groundwork or do your behind the scenes stuff from, December until the beginning of March. And then March is going to be our next big launch point. Because of the Venus retrograde, if you're working on a project, it's better to keep it quiet and just protect it and work on it in the backdrop. Then in March, the energies are going to flow out again. The tide's going to flow out again. So the message in the bottle or the boat that you're lifting out to sea, or anything that you're trying to launch in any department is going to have more of a boost in March. So you can do your behind the scenes stuff until then, and then sort of, align with the energies that are pushing out. But those areas are going to be accentuated, including friendships. So you might find that you make a bunch of new friends, or you participate in some group things that are very rewarding for you. And you could add some key people to your life that could be friends for the rest of your life. Acquaintances might hold pieces for you for things that you're working on, and going to things like networking things, either online or in person, can also yield great results in any area of your life, including your romantic life. So if you're single and you're looking, or single and you're open, sometimes Jupiter making this aspect can actually bring someone into your life. So you can look out for that. Now, some other major must-knows about Jupiter in Pisces are that it's going to really expand the intuitive state, the quiet state, not the logical side of the brain, the creative side of the brain, art for art's sake. It also might urge you to go deeper into your ancestral programming, your DNA, your genetics, and how those things are affecting you now. You might get interested in studying things like epigenetics, which I'm completely obsessed with because it tells us that we're not slaves to our DNA, that we can actually turn genes on and off, and that the things that turn genes on and off are the environment of the being, of the person, of the cells. And so when you change the environment, and the environmental factors are many, 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 but there are things that we can control in our environment that will change gene expression. So things like that, where you're getting into the deeper things that are sort of working behind the scenes, but are creating a lot of very notable, tangible experiences. So Jupiter in Pisces is going to bring us more into the spiritual realm. It's going to be a spiritual revolution, the chance for you to connect more deeply with spirit, and synchronicity, which is the language of spirit, is going to be enhanced. And you might find that you're in the right place at the right time, and that feeling of fate. Sometimes we have those times in our lives where you really more directly feel the hands of infinite spirit at work, placing you in a place that you weren't going to be in to meet a person that you would have never met otherwise, and then things taking a certain course. So a lot of fated experiences are likely to be happening, and this can help you to strengthen your trust in spirit. So there's definitely a lot of opportunities at that time. Earlier, I was talking about accessing super genius, and this is something that both the Saturn-Uranus square and Jupiter in Pisces is really inviting us to do. And what I mean by that is when we have an overfocus on logic, then sometimes it's to the detriment of creativity or intuition. And when we have, an overabundance of focus on those creative sides, sometimes we're not using the best of logic. But this is a time when developing both sides of the brain and developing the corpus callosum, which is the network that connects the two sides of the brain, is going to be very well indicated. And the more things that you can do that, like things like hemisync meditations with binaural beats with headphones that activate different sectors. There's a company called Hemisync. Actually, no, that is one also, but there's one called Equisync, EQUISYNC. I'm not a doctor. You have to make sure this is okay if you have, a mental diagnosis. It may or may not be, but I just want to put it out there as an example where it's proven to activate the different parts of your brain. And something else it's proven to do, and this is really critical, especially for Taurus people who are always on their game, is it helps to decrease the excess beta state of the brain. The beta state is our alert time where we get things done. We spend most of our awake time in some sort of a beta state, but we get into a hyper beta state, a hyper aware, hyper vigilant, hyper stressed. And when we're in that state where our prefrontal cortex is actually shut down and we're not able to access the higher solutions of spirit and intuition and creative thinking. So doing things like, that type of meditation, or even putting your hand on your forehead, when someone is, asking you something, you have to think, you say, okay, let me think a minute, right? You're actually re-engaging your capacity to think of a higher solution when you do that. Sometimes if you're kind of in a bad state, you might have to hold your hand there for a while, 5 minutes or more, but it might just take less than that. And so these are tools that you can use that help you to access the higher parts of your brain that help to balance out the logic and help you to get to your super genius expression, which is very exciting. Okay, so I have given you a massive amount of information and must-knows to help you make the most of this month and to know what could be coming so that you can best prepare for it. If you want to have even more information, go to anniehelpsyou.com, sign up for my free email newsletter. On the anniehelpsyou.com site, you'll see the interface for all the free things that I do for you each month, and there are so many. When you sign up for my free email newsletter, you get Shine, my 28-day virtual coaching package. Talk about inner work. This is an inner work powerhouse that I give you for free as a member of my email community. Also, new perk starting towards the end of November, as a member of my email community, you will also get access to run a free birth chart and see what placements and degrees you have so that you can use my videos that I make for you, these in-depth videos, in even greater ways. I have so many other resources, including books, my book Planetology, How to Align with the Natural Rhythms of the Universe. You can find it actually on bookshelves in all the major booksellers in the United States and lots of other countries too. And if it's not there on the shelf when you walk in, you can definitely order it. It's on Amazon. It's pretty much everywhere. And it's a guidebook to help you align with the natural rhythms of the universe. If you'd like to be an astrologer as your profession, or just casually earn some money from your love of astrology, or just help yourself and your friends and family, you will love my Becoming a Professional Astrologer Mastery course. If you think I go into lots of details, crazy amount of details in my free offerings, you should see what I give you in that course. So you can check that out at lumelife.com, L-U-M-E life.com. I also have some free courses on wellness and abundance at that site, which you can tap into. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.